What is going on, everyone? Leon checking in, and we're at it again with another episode. In today's video, we'll be unboxing, demoing, and reviewing two styles of the limited edition Royal Kludge RK84 RGB wireless mechanical keyboard. Now, I'm also excited to announce we're going to have two codes for the RK84 depending on where you buy it. One for the Amazon storefront and another for the RK store, and you can find those codes in the description below. As for this content, it's featured on the Modern Gamer playlist, so you can find information related to this topic quickly and easily. And as always, we only feature products or services I buy, use, or am interested in, like the Mark Ryden Business Laptop Backpack you can find at the Amazon storefront link in the description below. All things said, let's go ahead and get into it. So here we are with the RK84 limited edition unboxing for Americano Black and Macchiato White. Contents include the RK84 in either Americano Black on the left or Macchiato White on the right. Both of these limited editions will feature the same extra hot swappable switches, key and switch removal tool, and user manual. As for slight variations, each keyboard features its own color-coded Type-C cable, as well as color-coded magnet risers. And as mentioned in previous episodes, this key and switch removal tool has worked really well in these kits. And again, we have the Type-C cables, which is a plus here, but they're also going to be plenty long and feature a Velcro tie wrap for organization. So let's talk more about the limited edition RK84. As a side note, I love these coffee themed names that match their respective units. Macchiato White vibes perfectly with devices like the HP Chrome base. And the Americano Black coordinates properly with devices like the HP OMEN 16 gaming laptop. And as for layout, these are 75% units with 84 keys, so they'll be more on the compact side, missing features like a numeric keypad. The rear of the RK84 features a USB-C port for charging or wired use, and two USB-A ports for supporting other devices. And the front edge features RK Royal Kludge branding for gear identification. Flipping to the underside of the keyboard, you're going to see that we have silicone risers on all four corners, and this is going to provide grip while protecting the underside of the keyboard and surfaces that it's placed on. Now, unlike some other keyboards, the RK84 isn't going to have collapsible feet or legs for varying angles of comfort, but again, we do have these magnetic risers, and they are going to magnetize in place, and each of these is color-coded to its respective keyboard. Now, these magnet risers, or magnet stands as RK calls them, feature really strong magnets, so these are going to stay securely in place with snapping action, and they also stay in place if you are sliding the keyboard along surfaces. You can see that we have some slight movement there, but it's not going to slide off. This magnetic concept also carries over to the receiver dock, which is also magnetized, which means the receiver won't fall out easily. This is then followed by a label with keyboard information, an off-on switch, and then a switch for switching between receiver and Bluetooth mode. Now, a cool feature of the RK84 is this portion of the keyboard that features the RK Royal Kludge branding is also removable. Now, in order to remove this trim or faceplate, we're going to pull out on this lip that you see here, and while pulling out on it, we're going to push it away from us. We can then lift out the RK84, and this is what it'll look like without the faceplate installed. So if we go ahead and flip the keyboard over and power it on, and then flip back over, you can see how this is going to look with that trim removed. We're going to be able to see some of the RGB here. That is pretty cool. And for comparison, we have the Americano Black. We're going to power on. The RGB is going to illuminate. Now, because we have the faceplate installed, you can see that we can't see that RGB at the bottom there. Next, we have pairing, and the RK84 is a keyboard with triple mode support. This means this keyboard supports Bluetooth, 2.4 GHz via receiver, and a wired connection, with the receiver and wired connection methods being plug and play, requiring no additional setup. Now, one low-key feature I like about this keyboard is what I like to call built-in diagnostics. It lets you know what's going on with the keyboard if you're having any issues. So for example, if we look at the Americano Black, you can see that the P is blinking, and that means that that keyboard is in receiver mode. And when you're in receiver mode, you can't pair with a Bluetooth device. But if we look at the Macchiato White, you can see that the Q is flashing. So on this keyboard, if the Q, W, or E are flashing, That means we're in Bluetooth mode. And what this allows you to do is switch between devices quickly and easily. And we could switch between them by pressing and holding the function key and then tapping either 1, 2, or 3. Now, if a Bluetooth profile is paired to a device, it will be a solid color. For example, we have profile 1, that's the Q key. It's not going to be flashing rapidly, but if we change to profile 2 or the W key, you can see that this key is going to flash rapidly, and that means it's available for pairing. And let's say that we wanted to pair profile 1 or Q with a new device. We're going to press and hold function and then tap Q. That's going to switch to that profile, but then we can press and hold the Q key, and then that's going to flash rapidly, and now we could pair with a different device. In my experience, pairing for the first time is very quick with an automatic pairing request appearing on my computer. For example, we get this notification that appears in the bottom right hand corner of my HP OMEN 16. Now, if this pairing request doesn't appear automatically, you may have to go into Bluetooth settings, search for a new device, and look for RK84. Now, once keyboard pairing is complete, we have light customization, and we can switch between 20 different modes by pressing and holding the function key and then tapping home. And we can also switch between 8 colors by pressing and holding that function key again and then tapping end. And then we have brightness and speed adjustment for the lighting. Now, to adjust the brightness, we're going to press and hold the function key and then tap the down arrow. That's going to decrease brightness. And if we tap the up arrow, that's going to increase it. Now, if we continue to hold that function key down and tap the left arrow, that's going to decrease the speed of the lighting. And if we tap the right arrow, that's going to increase the speed. And you can see that when we reach the end for either the minimum or maximum of these adjustments, we're going to get this flashing pattern. It's going to be red, green, blue. That lets us know that we've met the end of either the minimum or the maximum. Nice feature there as well. And finally, we have performance. And if you've been watching the content, you know that I've unboxed and reviewed other RK keyboards, and I've enjoyed the performance of those. And I also enjoy the performance of these. It's going to be very similar. And it's also important that I let you know that I do use these keyboards regularly, which means that I actually do use them. Now, when it comes to keyboard performance, I love the travel that we have here, as well as the click feedback. So here is a sample test. So let's talk key and switch removal, which require the included tool. Now, before we do so, we're going to turn off the keyboard. That way we don't perform any accidental keystrokes. Now, we're going to start by removing the keyboard keys. So we're going to use this end of the tool, which actually spreads like a pair of chopsticks. And we're going to place it over a key. We'll go with the L key here, and it'll place on top just like so. You want to make sure that the arms actually go underneath the key, and then we can place our finger right on top of the key. That way we don't lose control of the key itself. And there we go. We can set that key aside. And then we're going to use this other end that looks like a pair of pliers, and we're going to pull out a switch. So we're going to align this with these little grooves on the switch, and then we can pull up on the switch itself. Sometimes it's in there pretty tight. There we go, we've got the switch pulled out. The switches for these limited edition units comes in yellow, and each switch is pre-lubed for smooth travel with a 50 million click lifespan. The RK84 is also compatible with 3 and 5 pin switches. Finally, we have battery performance, and the RK84 ships with a 3750 milliamp hour unit. Now, based on my experience with these keyboards and previous RK keyboards, the units do ship at least partially charged, which means you can use them out of the box. As for duration of use per charge, again, I use these units regularly. In fact, the RK84 is my daily driver as of this video, and I'm able to get hours of use per charge. Lastly, you may want to transport the RK84 safely, and it fits perfectly inside of the Mark Ryden Business Laptop Backpack for a tactical kit. So that is it for today's content. If you enjoyed it and found it useful, please leave a like. If you're watching on YouTube and have any questions or comments, as always, drop those down below and I'll do my best to answer them. Now, there are 3 ways you can support the content. The first way is to click on the Amazon storefront link in the description below. There you'll find items that I have bought or would buy, and anything you buy from the storefront does support the content. The next way you can show your support is just by sharing this content with someone who might enjoy it or find it useful. And the last way you can show your support is just by clicking the subscribe button. Now, liking and subscribing are important because those are ways to vote on whether you like the content. Liking and subscribing are also important for new viewers and listeners. If new viewers and listeners see likes and subscribers, they're going to think that the content is helpful, worth watching and listening to. And as always, thanks for watching and may the universe flow in your favor. And until next time, Leon checking out.
You